Hello, and welcome to today's talk. My name is Regina DeMeo, and I'm a family law attorney in Maryland and DC. I've been practicing for over 20 years, and I'm really excited today to have Leora Hoffman. She is a matchmaker in the DC area with over 30 years of experience and also the author of a book, Catch Me a Catch, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Thanks so much for being here, Leora.
I'm delighted to join you today, Regina.
So a lot of my clients, struggle with dating post-divorce. And I thought this was a great topic to have you talk about, especially now that people are hopefully getting vaccinated and they're ready to get back out into the dating scene. So my first question is, like, what kind of questions would you normally ask somebody as part of your intake process?
Well, I do a pretty thorough intake in the sense that I want to really get a deep understanding of everyone I'm working with. So I start with a family history, a relationship background, a sense of some of the psychological issues that my clients might be dealing with as a result of a divorce or loss of a spouse, for example. And so I want to find out, first of all, where someone is coming from in terms of a future prospect. And of course, their past relationships, past patterns inform that.
Right.
I also want to do a thorough background check and make sure that people are actually divorced when they say they're divorced, that they don't have criminal convictions. Also, I want to really delve into their political, religious orientations, their lifestyle. And so I have a full understanding of not only what's going to work for them psychologically, but also who might be compatible for them in terms of their lifestyle and their schedule, their goals, their aspirations.
No, that makes sense. So my understanding is you typically deal with DC professionals over the age of 50. And of course, the older we get, the more baggage we tend to have. Um, so what would you say are some of the most common obstacles that you find with the people that you're working with as a matchmaker?
Well, I specialize in the 50 plus demographic. I do work with all ages, but my
Okay.
specialty is that age group. And I find in that age group in particular, people can be set in their ways, and people can be come to the table with a history of, for example, being involved with somebody who fits a certain type. And they then come to me and they ask me for somebody just like their ex, for example. And I think that, inflexibility can really stand in the way of people really being open to new possibilities. And, they tend to be stuck in some type of emotional, psychological ruts at times. So I help them talk about what their needs are so that they can find somebody who might meet their needs most effectively and not be stuck on that typical pattern. The other thing I experience a lot is impatience. People want to know that, there's bells and whistles right from the beginning, and that this could be a person they could grow old with, for example. And my point to them is you don't have to go there just yet. A relationship is a continuum. So you meet someone on the first date. The only question you need to ask yourself is, do I want a second date with that person? Not, is this somebody I can go the distance with? Is this somebody I can, bring to Christmas dinner with the family? You don't have to go that far out because it's a stepping stone to the next date and possibly the next date. And obviously, if that continues, then you have the building blocks for a dating relationship, which hopefully will blossom into a committed relationship. And that's my goal for my clients.
That makes sense. I loved in the book how you talk about you actually you don't just pair people up, like you sometimes play shuttle diplomacy, and you're coaching them, right, to really get a feel for uh, what things are maybe they thought were non-negotiables, but maybe there could be some flexibility on. Um, so, like, what tips would you normally give people, especially with a first date? And like after the first date, when you're coaching them, like, what is it that you're trying to get from them?
Well, before a first date, I would, really coach them to, first of all, be positive. There's no point getting together on a date with someone if you're going to bring all this emotional baggage into the situation and vent about your ex
Right.
or the last dating relationship you had that didn't work out. So be positive, don't dwell on past relationships, and also, don't talk about why you're working with me in the service on the date because that's a distraction. You're there to get to know the person and to see if you want to spend more time exploring the possibilities with this person. So, whatever type of membership you have with me or how long you've been working with me is only a diversion, really, and is not relevant to the purpose of you being there in the first place.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I know some people can't resist talking about their experiences online, right? And then you could, like like you said, just divert and have an entire 2-hour discussion venting about your experiences online, and that's really not allowing you to really dig deep and like check each other out, right?
Exactly, exactly. And in the feedback stage, it's really important to learn, how that experience went. Was there a connection? Was there, did things click? Was there chemistry? Were there awkward silences? Was there a mutual desire to see each other again? What vibe did people get about the other person? Sometimes it's incorrect. And that's where I've done my best work is
Right.
really telling people, no, actually, that person did like you and is interested in you. You may not have perceived that, but they would like to spend some more time with you. People have a tendency, if they're uncertain, to say no right away. And so much of my success has been getting people to really get reoriented so they could keep their minds open to possibilities. And my book talks about, many situations where couples actually got married ultimately, where after the first date they said, "Oh, that person wasn't for me."
Right. I love that about your book. So I love that it alternates chapters between like your own life experiences, which obviously have colored your ability to then navigate relationships with your clients, and then like you'll give an example of a success story, even a not a success story, but where things went wrong in a match. I mean, it was a really nice, easy read, and I love the way you structured it.
Thank you. I really enjoyed the journey of writing it because it really called upon my own personal experience dating and trying to find love, which ultimately I did succeed at. And also some insights into the secret sauce of what a matchmaker does. Because I do think there are misconceptions about, the role of a matchmaker. I have always tried to be intimately involved in people enough so they trust me to really give them coaching and advice, even if it's not smooth in the beginning.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So was it a cathartic experience writing that book?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It became something different than what I envisioned when I started. But I too struggled with trying to find love. I had been divorced twice, and I was then single for 12 years before I met my husband, Jim, who I've been married to for now 7.5 years. And so it wasn't a smooth journey for me. And I wanted people to relate to that because it's never simple or easy. Relationships are complicated. And that's why it really helps to have really trusted confidants to support you in that process.
Right. Yeah, and it's like I said when we got together, that my favorite quote is, uh, "Smooth waters don't make for skilled sailors."
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
you've definitely sailed some some stormy waters, and you can use that to help your clients, which is great.
Absolutely. I mean, I think, when I began the business, I was married to my former husband, and, it was much easier because I didn't have the whole issue of being single and being a matchmaker to contend with. Later
Right.
on, it became more of a concern, but I really drew a very strong boundary between the two. I'm glad I did. But because I didn't date my own clients, I did a lot of online dating myself. And, I was good at it, but I also, got some, bruises and bumps along the way.
Right. And is the book available online?
It is. It's on Amazon.com. It's also available on BarnesandNobles.com, or people can contact me directly, and I'd be happy to provide them a signed copy of the book at my website, LeoraHoffman.com, or they can actually send me a communication through the website, and I would be happy to respond.
Perfect. And so if people want more information about your services in general, is the website the best way to reach you?
Yes, yes. They can find me at LeoraHoffman.com or LoveByLeora.com. It'll take them to the same place. And there's a link to my book on the homepage if people
Great.
are curious and would like to read it. And I always enjoy feedback from readers, so I encourage that. And I'm delighted to be here today to talk about this project and my
No, this has been great.
history.
Thanks so much for doing this.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
And
Thank you
thank
for
you all for
having me.
tuning in. We'll see you next time.